I know that there are some people that are from the meditation classes that I have been leading for the past years, as well as the Sai devotees that are with us from throughout the country. And so it's nice to be with you all tonight together to share Swami's teachings and how to put them into practice. It's a wonderful opportunity that we have in our lifetime to live the teachings of the Avatar, teachings of love, teachings of forgiveness, teachings of forbearance, the teachings of compassion, and loving all and serving all. Wonderful opportunity. And Swami has said that this 3-time advent of the Avatar is the first time it has ever happened in the history of the universe. And it's the only time it will ever happen in the future. Shirdi Sai Baba, Sati Sai Baba, Prem Sai Baba, the 300 years of the Avatar. It's a very special time for anybody on earth at this particular moment who knows and loves God in form and form. So Roseanne's going to read something tonight.
All right. Well, first we're going to talk about, we just got back from India. And I just want to share a little bit. I hadn't been there in 14 years since Sai Baba took Mahasamadhi. And I was dreading going back without his form being there. So I did cry a lot when I was there. But I also conquered my mind about, his form. But the feeling obviously is always the same because he was never his body. It's just a focal point for us to concentrate on and receive love through. So it was very, very hard but wonderful to be there. And he made sure I got into the mandir and did all the usual things that I used to do. I was sitting near the side of the building near a Krishna statue, which, if you haven't been there, in the old days we would walk around the building in the morning and to wake God up.
Circumnavigating or circumambulating the mandir.
Right.
And we passed Swami's room. Wake up. In our minds, we knew he was
right. I think we did it 3 times. So it is a lot of very wonderful memories of the 1970s and 80s and 90s, and as it got built up, and it was very wonderful. I thought I had some profound thing that I thought. It's just a chance to reconnect and sort of face facts.
When you close your eyes, if you're at Prashanti Nilayam, it feels like Swami's right there, right with you. If you open your eyes, you see the Maya and the circus and the politics and all the nonsense that goes on. We'd like to transcend all that, and we do when we're there. And it was just wonderful closing your eyes and just sitting with Swami in our hearts and minds and feeling that intensity of vibration that the Samadhi allows us to have. And the reality is, Swami did say one thing to Bizu Sahani, who is now living at Prashanti Nilayam and enjoying his retirement. Finally, he got there. He had long ago with Ann Sahani, if you know them, Bizu and Ann Sahani, they were longtime devotees, and long ago, they said to Swami, "Can we live here?" And he said, "Sure, come." So they just sold all their stuff. They show up, and it took 6 months to sell all their things and arranged to be there for the rest of their lives at Prashanti Nilayam. And we're talking about like 1990 or something like that. And they show up, and Swami comes up to them and says, "When are you leaving?" So Swami was fooling around, like seeing how much surrender they would have. And they sold all their things to be with God, and you can't get better than that. And then they went back to New York, and then they set up again, and of course passed on. And Swami said she was fully liberated when she did. And then or actually he said it prior to her leaving because she left after he did. But prior to her leaving, he had said, when you pass on, you'll be fully liberated. Don't worry about that. And so Beezer was there, and we had breakfast a couple of times, and he said to me a few things that were really relevant. But I'll share a couple of them with you. And one of them is that Swami said there are 3 levels of energy which he maintains on the planet. The highest frequency is at Prashanti Nilayam. The second highest frequency is all of India. And the third frequency is the rest of the world. Now, where he also has said, wherever you are, I am. So it's up to us to create Prashanti Nilayam in our hearts and minds. It's up to us to maintain that highest frequency.
And if you don't know what that means, Prashanti Nilayam is the mode of highest peace.
So, we all go through it. One of the things I noticed in India is that there were thousands of sannyasis in the streets. We were in Tiruvannamalai as well, and Swami said that was a very wonderful place to meditate, Ramana Maharshi's ashram and all that. But the fact of the matter is, there are thousands of sannyasis, and I'm a psychologist, so I look at somebody and I go, whoa, what's going on there? And there are thousands of really screwed up sannyasis. However, every once in a while, someone who has the real thing passes by, and you go, Om Namah Shivaya, and they look at you like, Namah Shivaya. And you just feel that blast of divine energy from them because they are doing the real thing. But the problem is, they can't tell you how they got there. They don't talk about it. They don't tell you how they got there. They don't even know how they got there, basically, but they got there. So the beauty of Swami is this. Not only is the avatar comes to, uphold righteousness in the world, turn the Kali Yuga into the golden age, promotes all negativity and obstructions of the ego to dissolve, all that. Yes, that's a good job. But he teaches us, he explains to us exactly how to walk up the path and how not to do it in a rigid way, but to do it in a flexible way that we take one step at a time, one step of the ladder, up to the next step of the ladder, up to the next step of the ladder, until ultimately we arrive at our own true self, him embodied in us, and us embodied in him, the oneness of love. So, it's something to really treasure, that we can pick up a book and it has Swami's teachings in it, like the Prema Vahini, the Dhyana Vahini, the Dharma Vahini, all these Vahinis that Swami personally wrote at night in his room while we all slept. And, these are direct words of the avatar. To study these is the ultimate, and to practice them is the absolute, divine grace that we can have if we do it. So it's up to us. It's there. It's all there. So Roseanne's going to read something now.
It's from one of the books of his speeches. Just the nature of the mind. Just a basis first is like we have the koshas, the food body, the breath body, the mind, the lower mind, the higher mind. I could look at the lower mind and say, to whom did that thought occur? And watch the show, and our conscience, and that also is our conscience. And then beyond that is the bliss body, who we really are. So one thing we thought a lot about in India was service, selfless service. And you watch people at ashrams, they do tremendous service. There's a woman who was there, the head of the ladies' side, doing, placing everybody, doing all the lines. And I was just shocked she was still there, 14 years later. She was elderly, when I last saw her. in 2010, and she's still there, just day in and day out doing this service is tremendous. And what Baba says about selfless service is how we look at the work that we do for God. So he says, selfless service kills the ego. The hands do the work, the tongue performs the task of talking, and the head inquires. All these limbs of the body may be different from each other, but the divine power that exists in them is one and the same. Likewise, the same divinity exists in all beings. Once you understand this truth, the service you render will become divine. One should not become egotistic, thinking that one is doing great service. Actually, service is meant to kill the ego. You cannot call it service if it is rendered with ego. First of all, ego has to be subdued. Body attachment is the root cause of ego. Ego will vanish once the body attachment is given up. The spirit of oneness will develop once the ego is annihilated. So what Bob is saying is that if we think we're doing something, if we think we're serving some other person, then it's not service.
This is in the form of an alignment with nishkama karma, which is doing action without being attached to the fruits of the action, and realizing that God is the only doer, as Krishna has said to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. It is only I who is doing all, and no one else. To think that we are the doers is a taint of ego. To think that we are separate from God is still ego. To think that we are doing anything and God is then watching and judging and working aside, looking aside at us is still ego. When you realize, oh, God's the only doer and there's only God, that's all there is. Everything is the Father's will. All is God's will, nothing else, no one else, all the time, everywhere. Then there's no room for ego. So in helping another human being, or any being for that matter, plants, animals, crawling things, whatever, all beings are in need of help to evolve. In helping anyone else, for instance, there is no one else to help. It's just God helping God. And that's all there really is.
So the way service is essential to, this is a talk about meditation and an experience of meditation. So the service is a big part of the rest of our life. And also the meditation. We don't do meditation for ourselves. We do it for the world, for that peace in the world that can come through each human being connecting with God. And Sai Baba also talks about some levels of mind that we get through self-inquiry, service, and meditation. He said there are different levels of the mind, namely the super mind, higher mind, illuminated mind, and overmind. Man will reach the state of totality only when he attains the level of overmind. Supermind is related to body consciousness. The source of body consciousness is the principle of the Atma that pervades the entire body. Body consciousness becomes thought consciousness when one reaches the level of higher mind. Body consciousness is limited to the physical level, whereas thought consciousness has no such limits and can travel up to any distance. So the thoughts, we think we don't really realize what we're doing when we're thinking. We think that's normal and natural when it's really something that's not helpful to us. So I remember Hilda, who taught Al and I to meditate, she would have a class and she would watch people's mental bodies get up and leave the room while we were meditating, because they were thinking, oh, I'm hungry. And then they would think of a restaurant or going home, and their mental body would just go beep and leave. So she wanted us to be really aware of what we were doing, that this is not just some, we just think our thoughts are normal, but they're not really. Do you want to say anything about that?
Okay, well, my perspective is a little different, in that the mind is a complete liar. Every thought that it has, every feeling that it has, is a complete lie. It's Maya, it's delusion, it's a dream, and we believe it. And it wants us to believe that it's true, because that is the mind upholds the ego. The ego uses the mind to continue to exist. So my perspective is that I observe all the thoughts and feelings that are traveling through the mind, and I never follow any of it. I follow here what the conscience says. Now, I used to ask Hilda, because Swami told her a diamond's a very precious stone, but a mind is the greatest treasure in the universe. So I'd say to her, living with her and driving her around, and, for all that time that I did, 15 years, 12 years living with her. And we were celibate, and Swami said, you stay there. But the fact of the matter is, I'd say to her, well, if you don't have a mind, because you told me that your mind's dead, it's a mind, and Swami said it was dead, then how do you think? He says, I think from here. From the heart. From the heart. It just comes what to do. It doesn't come from here. Here, she said the last time it came from here, she was coming home from India, and she had a plan how she was going to get some stones that she had bought in India through customs.
So 18 years of living in India, she realized that she had gone over the limit because she had a ton of stuff. And so that was her worried mind came in. But then Baba just, the person said, welcome home.
So, you get to hear your intuition and let God guide you. And then you realize this is just lying about almost everything. It doesn't know the truth of anything. It thinks it does. It thinks, well, this fact and that fact adds to this fact and that fact. It doesn't have a clue of what's real and what's not.
And it's very tricky.
It's very tricky.
Right.
This does, because your soul is one with God. Your causal body is one with God. You got to stay with that. So Swami calls it CIA, and then he of course laughs about it because it's quite an acronym that he uses. He used it with fun. Constant integrated awareness. Constant integrated awareness. And he said and taught us, it's a waste of time if you don't love all and serve all. So just a waste of time to be meditating and doing all the sadhana and not loving all and serving all. So the challenge is to love God in every single form in the universe, regardless of their behavior, because it's God doing everything for some reason that we can't understand, but not to align with the demonic. And then what defines the demonic? Those people or those incidents or those events that hurt other people. So the demonic sometimes fights the demonic. They have demon fights. Stay away from all that stuff. Let God do his job. Don't judge. Don't get involved. Don't let God do his work. Stick with this and love all and serve all. Through it all, this is the Kali age that's now transforming into the new age. Prema Sai is here. Prema Sai Baba is here. He is absolutely here. You can't watch him on YouTube. Any of those YouTubes of Prema Sai are completely erroneous. But he is here, and Swami gave me very clear indication that he was. And I tried to find him this trip. I tried to go to Dadalum. I'm not going to say. They changed the name of the town, first of all. I had to find it. And then secondly, I tried to get there, but my friend Rick died in the middle of it, and we couldn't. So Rick wanted to die in India. He had 10 years of heart failure, and finally got him. And we spent 5 wonderful days together, those who know Rick, and having lunch and dinners,
Chanting.
and Tiruvannamalai. And then he went to Pondicherry to see Sri Aurobindo's ashram, and he passed on. It was a good place to pass on.
He had a great send off. That Yogi Ram's Rajkumar devotees, they got all the Vedic things. He was a professor who taught Sanskrit. They got all the perfect Vedic things. His son came to do the rituals, and they fed poor people. They did everything you're supposed to do, and perfectly for a person that
Born in Brooklyn. Who would have thought? He was great. He was taught at Vassar College.
He had wonderful karma to be sent off like that. And I had a dream that Hilda knew he was gonna come back to heaven with her and Sai Baba and everyone. And so that was
in any event, Rick's passing interfered with me finding Prem Sai Baba in the town. Which,
right, the nature of the mind is unreal.
God bless Rick. And I heard, like, I was really kind of upset. It was a shock that he went off to Pondicherry the next day after we all had lunch for and dinner for 5 days and everything with Barry, those of you who know him. And we were in Tiru doing this and meeting together and having a good time and meditating a lot and chanting a lot. And then he goes off to Pondicherry and he passes on the next night. And it was kind of all a shock, you know. It was like he got carried off by an ambulance and he passed on. But the fact of the matter is, I heard him go. I would pass by his room where we stayed, and I'd say, "Oh, Rikkananda, Hari Rama, Hari Krishna, how's not Om Namah Shivaya? What's happening?" And that's how we call out to each other. And he'd go, "Ali Baba, how you doing?" Because he liked to nickname me that. And then when he passed on that night, I was like sitting in meditation in the middle of the night. And I heard, Ali Baba. Like he was going off into the absolute. It's just a wonderful feeling, even now when I say it. So be it. So I didn't find Prem Sai Baba. I'm sorry.
God had other work for us to do. We waited for his family to come in. So here is the supermind is related to body consciousness. The source of body consciousness is the principle of the Atma that pervades the entire body. Body consciousness becomes thought consciousness when one reaches the level of higher mind. Body consciousness is limited to the physical level, whereas thought consciousness has no such limits and can travel up to any distance. That is why thought consciousness is termed as higher mind. Higher mind transcends the 5 elements. To reach this transcendental state, one has to begin with supermind. Higher mind, however, does not signify the highest state. Illuminated mind is beyond the higher mind. So those are some of the things we go through in meditation when our mind stops and it becomes more and more part of our everyday experience, to not believe, or as Al said, the lies of the mind. So we use the higher mind to look at the lower mind, which is, our usual thoughts and also our feelings. And then we go into the state beyond that. That's Robert says is the illumination mind.
That's what they call enlightenment. But the fact of the matter is, that takes a while to, you have to persist in beyond mind state. And the fact of the matter is this also, you can't give up your mind if you have a job that requires the mind. To think out data, to do schoolwork, to do government work. You have to think, you have to have a mind to meticulously go through stage 1, step 2, step 3, all the things that you didn't need to do to maintain your your school education or to also maintain your job. But remember that in the third stage of life, sannyas, you give that all up and you say, I'm just going to go for the gold. And at the same time, understand that as householders, Swami has said that we can also do that. Sannyas is inside, not outside. Swami has said directly. And also, and that is the realization he has said, that if a householder makes it into Brahman consciousness, aham brahmasmi, and a sannyas yogi has made it into Brahman consciousness, aham brahmasmi, the householder is actually much stronger. If even though they're in the same consciousness, the way of getting there was much more difficult for the householder in the midst of the world than the yogi or the sannyas that gave up the world and just wandered the streets or the caves or whatever. Much more difficult. And that's us. Swami has returned all of us yogis from the past, all of us sannyasis, whatever we were, we don't know, but he knows.
And we were of all religions. We've been everything.
To every religion, it had to be at the state of consciousness. But the fact is, he returned all of us to householdership, to do it this way. Easier the other way. This way, you do it. Whoa, you have quite a bit to give to the world and all beings in it, of how to walk the path that Swami's teachings are lived by, and the love that we have for all beings and the service we have for all beings, without attachment, without ego, knowing it's just our own self and no one else, just God serving God. So that's about it. So if everybody would mute their mics, because some people are getting a little feedback, we'll go into the meditation now. At the end, we'll have questions if you like. Let's Om 3 times.
Check your posture, make sure that your back is straight and your head is erect. Relax your shoulders. Take in a deep breath. Hold it and breathe out. Breathe in. Feel your diaphragm expanding. Hold it. Breathe out. Breathe in again. Hold it. And breathe out. Breathe in and imagine that there's light coming in as you're breathing in. Hold it. And breathe out. And as you breathe out all darkness, all tiredness. Let it disappear. Let it go. Breathe in again and feel the light coming into you. Feeling your body, the divine light. Breathe out. Let all darkness, all dis-ease leave your body. Just feel it just disappearing Breathe in again. Breathe in. Feel this light shining within you, Jyoti. The tips of your toes to the top of your head is filled with light. Then breathe out and let all darkness disappear. All tiredness disappears. We are alive in God's light, perfect in God's light. Breathe in again. Fill yourself with this light. Every cell is alive in this light. Breathe out all darkness. You're alive, awake, happy. Breathe in again. Feel your heart filled with light. It's light shining in your heart. Breathe out. Now it's changing because we're just breathing out the same light into the world. Breathe in God's light. Feel it filling your body, filling your heart. Breathe out and feel this light going out into the world. Breathe in God's light. Feel yourself just full, tips of your toes. Your heart is open and flowing, overflowing with light. It's coming up through your throat. Through into your head. Feel yourself, all the muscles relaxed. Chakras are open, all the energy is flowing nicely. You just breathe out. Know your perfection. Breathe in again into your heart. Feel your heart full of light. Jyoti that dwells there always is just glowing with love. Light and love and God are the same. Feel your heart, how soft, happy it is. Heart in the center of the chest. Just breathe in. Feel full. Your divine light. Breathe out. It's only light. Breathe in again. Feel your heart, your throat, your head is filled with light. Energies are rising and flowing all around, shining. Feel your head is filled with this light. The third eye is not to look outward, but to look inward, Sai Baba said. Let's look inside ourselves, the divine brilliance. This is our true self, the Atma. Look within. Feel the light within. Our divinity. Feel this divine light. There's nothing outside of us. They're shining. Shining with love. If any thoughts come up, send this love to them. Let them be bathed in love. Feel your oneness, one with God. Endless illumination. Our true self. Let the light rise to the top of the head. Like the sun shining. Reality, our reality is this oneness, this light, this love. Just feel it flowing all through you and shining in the world. Everywhere we go. Our service to God is to carry this love through the world, this light. God's healing light. So let it shine through you, all the body shining. There's nothing outside of it. Nothing outside of God. Everything is God. Everything is within God's love. Everyone is within God's love. We look outside to the mind and we see division, we see duality. We look inside, we know oneness. There's nothing but oneness. Reality is oneness. Beyond the mind, eternal love. If we're God, then if the thoughts come about some problem or person, what is outside, there's nothing outside of God. That problem is It's God. You say, God, you know how to take care of it. You just let God take care of it. There's nothing outside of God. Just our faith, our love, our devotion, all these things are like a river that just shines. The brightness cleanses our mind of all worry. Just let go of everything. God is the only thing that exists. Love. Love is the only thing. There's nothing outside of God. Know the oneness of our reality. Know it beyond words, beyond thought. It's nothing but God. There's no two. There's only one. There's no mind. There's no duality.
The mind dwell on Om. If you're having trouble focusing on the top of the head, let the sun rise in the forehead. The sun at sunrise transcends the inner sky of consciousness to high noon at the top of the head. There be the light of love at high noon, the sun at high noon. We've watched it for millions of years. It's a natural way to progress. We focus on that love, that light of love, God in you at the top of the head with Om in the mind. When the mind wanders away, just gently, easily, effortlessly bring it back. No battle is needed. God in you will always win. God in you is the only doer, even when meditating. So relax into that, and the whole temple, body, mind automatically fills with love and light. Mind wanders from Om in the light of love. Bring it back gently, easily, effortlessly. No criticism or judgment of the mind for wandering is needed. God will do God's work within you, even while meditating. Every cell and every atom of this temple body mind is strengthened to its maximum potential. 100% immunity, 100% potentiality, 100% energy. Let God's energy be your energy. No need for personal energy. The yogis, when they find they are sleepy in meditation, they breathe 10 or 12 breaths and then hold it. They breathe Vasustrika. They hold the last breath. And then they shoot it through the top of the head. And they do that 3 times in a row, so it's 36 of them. But if you feel you're tired, that's the way of the yogis, the way of the saints. God in you lives, God in you loves, God in you meditates on the reality. When you feel filled up with that light of love from the tips of the toes to the top of the head, you feel like, wow, this is really intense. Then open those gates of heaven at the top of the head and let the light of love flow like a river. Let it overflow like cups that runneth over, like fountains of youth, fountains of love, fountains of God. Let it flow all around you, no longer confined by the boundaries of a temple body, 5 foot or 6 foot or 3 foot wide, ridiculous container that we're all contained on earth. Let it flow out, let it expand like consciousness, the light of love. Fill the room, fill the community, and touch all beings you think upon. Turn them into light and love, embodiments of love, our own true self in every form. Drop all the worries, all the thoughts of this world. None of them are real. They all hide the reality of love, the reality that God is in every atom, every particle of the entire universe. And the universe is God's body, which we're in. We are one in that ocean of love. Let that happen as you expand. Fill the world with love, with light. It's all God, nothing else, no one else. Always, everything, everywhere. Om. Fill the universe, the sky, the clouds, the stars beyond them, all the light of consciousness, your own true self. Don't think, oh, I'm lit up with consciousness and that's lit up with consciousness too. Don't think like that. Think, I am expanding into the reality of love that I embody in the entire universe. I am one with the Father, Mother, God. Don't let ego tell you differently. Everything else is only a lie. Duality is a lie. Keep letting go into that. It's nice to be a devotee and have someone to worship and adore and form. That's a beautiful thing. It takes you that far. As Sai Baba has said, go beyond name, go beyond form. The infinite, absolute oneness of love. Keep letting go to that. Go beyond the negative, and then go beyond the positive. Both are God. The yin and the yang, it's all God. I am that I am. Keep expanding. Love more. That is the path. Take that path with love. Dig deeper with love of God and God in all beings. And if you feel you want to take one step deeper, feel this love radiating through you. This divine energy pulsating within you and all beings throughout the universe. Know this. We were never born and we will never die. The true you, the true me is that. The absolute, infinite, eternal. For all creation, we are that. Let everything else go. Before the Big Bang, you are that. You are that now, you always have been, and you always will be, and there's nothing that can change it. Let creation go. You can take it back later if you like. Now, let it go. We were never born, and we will never die. This truth can set you free. Oh, source of all. I am that I am. Keep letting go till there's nothing left to let go of. Source of all. Source of the Big Bang. I am that I am. The mind reappears, come back to home. Let that dissolve into the silence, the absolute, the whole, all of us, the ocean. Raindrops have returned. Raindrops become the ocean. I am that I am. All is the Father Mother's grace. Can't do it without it. Beg for it. Be it. Keep steady. Walk on. Walk on. There is no place to walk on to. You are that which you seek. I know I've always been that. You are that now, hidden by the Maya of creation. Let the Maya go. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sukhanim Pushti Bardhanam Uvarukami Bandhanam Mrityo Mukshya Mamritat. Shiva dissolve the ego in the mind. The natives. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sukhanim Pushti Bardhanam Uvarukami Bandhanam Mrityo Mukshya Mamritat. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sukhanim Pushti Bardhanam Uvarukami Bandhanam Mrityo Mukshya Mamritat. Om Tat Sat. Hold it just for a few moments. Go deeper. Now have the idea in mind. If this was my last day on earth, of course it's not going to be, but if this is my last day on earth, how do I want to think and feel when I meet God face to face tonight in my sleep? This is the last day on earth. This is the way the yogis think when they meditate. And let me prepare. Let me get ready to love. Live in love right now. No delays, no waiting, no excuses. This is it. This is the moment. Like I heard Rick saying, Ali Baba. Off into the infinite. He went. Get ready. You are that. Love more. Give more. No need for selfishness, because there is no lower self. Only one self. God within all being. I am that I am. Oh, now take a moment inside. Observe where you are in your inner consciousness. Take inventory. Notice how you feel right now, especially in comparison to how you felt before this evening. Besides being tired, especially if you're jet lagged, notice how wonderful it is to be your true self. No burdens to pretend, no acts. Know who you really are. You act from that space with constant integrated awareness. Just notice how good it feels to be your own true self. And when you're ready, begin to breathe that awareness back into the heart center, the altar and the temple of the body mind. However, if you don't have a mind anymore, you can't say body mind, you can just say body. But we'll all admit that we still have a mind. And we don't have to be part of it. We don't have to listen to it. We can observe it from our own inner consciousness. And recognize that it only tells us a partial truth, which is actually a lie. It hides reality in order to cope with everyday life. Be sannyasis in the world, give it all up, but still be in it, but not of it. Try that out while loving all and serving all through the day and through the night. Even when you sleep, in your dreams, you're helping others if you live the truth of life. Loving all, serving all, one God in all beings, doing it all, no one else, nothing else, all the time, everywhere, everyone. No matter what the drama looks like, that's the only truth that sets us free. So breathe it back into the body, to the temple, and the altar of the heart, coming down in. Breathing in, feeling your toes, feeling your body. Coming back in as we own for peace in this world, that all beings may be in love and harmony, living our highest self. May get everyone in this world have an instant God awakening through the power of love that we spread forth through this own. Swami says that yogis live in the Om. That's their home. So be that, even as householders. Oh. See the world a golden globe of love between your hands. Spread peace on earth, love and understanding. Never give up. Oh. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace to the world and all beings in it. May all beings be happy, healthy, and prosperous. May love be their eternal message. Love in action. So take a good 3 minutes before opening the eyes, coming back in. Take your time. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes when you feel ready. Don't rush it. No sense in rushing. Would anybody like to share anything or ask a question? Anything that you'd like to say? Feel free to open your mic and speak. The loudest voice is the silence of the absolute. Apparently that has happened.
There are two people who raised their hands.
Okay.
There's
All right.
someone
Go
on
ahead.
the phone, 845691233.
Prasanna, you handle it. You open it up.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can't skip.
Yeah, someone on the phone. I think you raised your hand first. If you want to go ahead, please speak.
This is Darlene Erickson. Can you hear me?
Hello, Darlene.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi. Okay. Thank you. Just want to make sure I unmuted myself. I just had a question, Al. You were talking about service, and I just wanted to, I didn't quite understand, so just wanted to see if you could elaborate. The way that I had always understood service was to do things without looking for any reward or anything back. So, for most of my life, I've been, doing service sort of behind a curtain, just because that's what's in my heart to do. So, did I is that correct, or is that did I misunderstand service? Or if you could elaborate, I appreciate it. Thank you.
What you're describing is nishkama karma, which is to act without attachment to the fruits of the actions. That's one step. Perfect in service. The second step is to know that we don't do anything. God is the only one doing everything. So, and the third step is to know that God is serving God in every being. So there is no such thing as service in actuality, because you're just helping yourself. And all those three steps, when acted upon and thought through and held in consciousness, become perfect love in action. Is that clear? Clearing things?
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're not experiencing an other in real service.
How can one raindrop be different from another raindrop? When they merge in the ocean, they all become the ocean. And when that happens, and in the way of that happening, even in the rivers and streams, they're still all flowing together, all loving together, all serving together. There's no separateness. So the next person had another person had a hand up?
Yeah, Sister Carola.
Yeah,
Yes.
one question I have is, what is the book Satyasai Speaks, where the quote with the minds, different minds was written?
Yes.
And which number?
It's 33, and it's November 20th, 2000. Seventh World Conference.
What page?
Sorry?
Oh, and the page is 317. If you have this,
I don't.
yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
just think of the date.
I think you can get them online. I think they have it online.
Yeah, the SSSIO, Sri Satyasai International Organization has that all on that online. You could just look it up in the search and you'll find it.
And thank you. And the other questions, so it starts the regular mind or the lower mind, and then comes the super mind, and then the higher mind, and then the illuminated mind or illumination mind. Is those 3 steps?
But the traditional thing that's talked about is that there's the 5 koshas or bodies. So there's the food, the breath, the lower mind, the higher mind, which is the conscience, and the intellect. And then from there, which he hadn't really talked about, and then the
Cosmic mind.
the cosmic mind, there's the bliss mind, which I guess incorporates those other ones that have the let's see if I don't have them memorized though. They're the higher mind, the super mind, and then the illumination mind.
So just think of it this way. When you give up all that you identify with, you give up all the boundaries of time and space, and you give up all the attachments and all the desires by just, you don't have to go through every single one of them. You just have to skip past them with Om. And then you become the source of Om. That is the illuminated mind. However, you have to wait because it's the grace of God that gives you the actual illumination. You have to wait for the grace of God to make the final stroke. And that's the rock that splits the rock. And there you are. Someone you've always been.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody like to share what they experienced in meditation?
Hopefully you all went beyond your mind.
Sai Prasanna just gave the actual part of that book. It's good. Oh, go beyond mind. That's it. Okay. We can sit in silence. The greatest teaching. David Garrity, where are you? Are you here tonight?
I don't think David came today.
No, because it's Monday night, so it switched it up from Wednesdays, and you know, I switched it up so many times, everybody can't keep the same schedule as us, but perhaps they'll be able to join us. We'll be speaking in New Mexico on Labor Day. They've invited us to the retreat to lead the guest speakers, and we'll be meditating there in person. If anybody would like to really go to a retreat in person in New Mexico on Labor Day weekend, get in touch with the SSSIO and inquire about it. Anybody who wants to come can come. It's in a wonderful spot near Albuquerque or something like that.
Yeah, we experienced you virtually and continuing to do that. I think this is going to be phenomenal with the physical experience.
In 3D. I'm better in 3D than 2D. All right. If there aren't any other questions, Sai Prasanna, take it. You can take it from here.
Okay. Great. Our sessions are going to be every last Monday at 7 o'clock every month. So if you want to
7
join
o'clock
us,
Central Time.
Central time. I'm sorry. I'm just so selfish thinking about my time zone.
You're not selfish at all.
A little out of it.
You're God. Not selfish.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, and 5 o'clock Pacific. So if you want information about the things, we are sending emails and we are also sending the things through the WhatsApp group. I had put the WhatsApp group in the chat. So if you can click on it, you can join our group. So if anyone is new here, you please join. I've been getting some emails from Brother David Stowe contacts, and so we've been sending them the info too. So please join us every month. It's nice. I think as Brother Al and Sister Roseanne said, our group meditation is going to really help with the vibrations in the world and make things better. So let's all do it together and continue to do it. Thank you, Brother Al and Sister Roseanne. Besides the jet lag, just coming back from India, you have took us through this beautiful session. Thank you so much. It was really blissful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for convening every month like this for now more than 3 years. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think we're a good group of people who's really interested in this.
And I want to thank all the people that have come from the meditation class that I give weekly. Thanks for joining in, and those of Hilda's students that have joined in. That's a wonderful thing that you've come. We all have a special surprise for you, so come to the next meditation that we have.
It's a beautiful night, Al and Roseanne, and thank you so much.
Thank you. God does everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Al and Roseanne. We're just so grateful that you're here with us. Thank you.
We're grateful you're here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Meryl and Jay.
Thank you so much, you guys. It's so beautiful.
Oh,
Hope you
Thank you
join
very
us.
much. Thank you. It was beautiful.
Thank
night.
you. Good night.
it's your beauty. It's what you see.
You
It's
know-
your real self.
When you pop popcorn, suddenly everybody starts popping it. All the popcorns start popping and everybody pops. And in God, there are no old nannies that don't pop.
Oh,
We're all popping. Thanks so much.
Thank you. So we'll see you next month. So let's offer a small prayer to Swami and we can finish the session. Dear Swami, thank you so much for taking us through this wonderful, blissful meditation session and helping us feel your presence. Please help us to practice this until we meet next time in 1 month. Samastalokaah Sukino bhavantu. Samastalokaah Sukino bhavantu. Samastalokaah Sukino bhavantu. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. Peace, peace, peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Jai Sai.
Ram, Jai Sai Ram.
Have a good night.